cough break.
Cut. Anyways,
Let me get a Wawa.
Also, bless my soul, Earth was on a roll. Then a trip. He was a hero, a zero. Now he's a hero. Da da da. Zero to hero. Y'all know what I'm talking about?
I'm back.
That was their little intermission.
I got choked up on. I don't know.
You got choked up. I'm so sorry.
I got choked up. Okay.
She did what? I'm sorry. Yesterday when we watched the Blair Witch Project.
Oh my gosh, my crush is the Blair Witch.
Actually, my crush is the Blair Witch, and I've never seen her, but I just know that she's a baddie.
If you've seen Blair Witch Project, they deserve to die.
They kind of did. Not gonna lie.
Film students are the worst.
They did. They are. I think that movie is 100% accurate, and I think a film student would put.
It was an actual
their situation.
It says it's a true story. I believe it. This makes sense. It makes
sense.
Like,
I gotta get the shot. I'm like, no, you don't.
Like, Heather, girl, read The Room.
No,
read
really.
The Woods. Read The Woods.
Read The Woods. She was out here touching mama's rocks.
Why? The only reason scary movies happen is because it's a group of kids that go, oh, this is so weird. Why is this like this? Touches it, destroys it, or whatever.
Or they're just like, oh my god, you just heard a really weird sound in the middle of the woods in the middle of the night. We should go check it out.
Or they're like, dude, it's fine. Don't worry about it.
It's like, oh my god, you're like,
and that person's gone the next day.
And then everyone's like, well, because why would you be getting into business that doesn't have anything to do with you?
Yeah. Blair was out there stacking rocks.
Exactly.
And 7
making
piles.
her little crafts.
Oh, 7 piles with 7 kids.
Oh my god!
Those are the graves.
Wait, we just had a revelation.
And the things hanging in the tree, I think there's 7 of them, and they look like people.
And they were stick figures too. Oh my! I can't believe we didn't notice that. Dang. Okay. So, anyways, just to explain, because that made no sense if you haven't seen the Blair Witch Project. Also, spoilers if you haven't seen the Blair Witch Project. But basically, I'll give you like a little summary. These, and I mean, like, I feel like most people have heard about this.
Well,
even
it's been out for 24 years.
Yeah, it was like 25. It came out in 99.
It's 25 now.
Oh my god!
Because this year will be 25.
99, yeah.
Anyway.
Well, anyways, it came out in 99, so I was like, most people know about this movie, like, even if they haven't seen it, they've, like, heard about it. But basically, like, these 3 film students go into the woods to, like, find the Blair Witch. Not even find the Blair Witch, they were just going there to, like, shoot a documentary.
They're trying to find a cemetery for the kids.
Yes.
Killed.
And, like, in the beginning of the movie, they tell you about a man named Rustin Parr back in, like, the 1940s, 50s, who, murdered these children. And I think this is a real case.
Is it?
Yeah, I think this has actually happened.
Hold on, let me get my laptop.
The guy in the beginning of the movie, they talk about this man, named Rustin Parr who lived in a cabin in the middle of the woods in like the 40s or the 50s. And one day he came in. There was like sorry, I'm like fast tracking, but in this like community of people, like where like civilization was, they were kind of like these 7 kids went missing. Like randomly, and nobody knew what had happened to them. And like beforehand there was already like a
This is a fictional character.
Dang it, that would have been so well. Yeah, I guess he's not real, but anyways, so basically what they're saying is that the Blair Witch, it was already like a mythological figure in this community. Like people had already known about her, and we're kind of like, oh yeah, like the Blair Witch. So when these kids went missing, people kind of just were like, "Oh, it's the Blair Witch. Like she got them, she killed them." But this man came into town one day and went to the police and said, "Like I'm done." And then the police kind of caught him, and he like confessed, and he like confessed to killing the 7 children. And he was like, he said that he couldn't take, or that he was like finished or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he described the way that the kids were killed, and he said that he would bring them into the basement, I think, in pairs of two, and would have one of them face the corner while he would murder the other one, and then would like continue the
Yeah.
pattern. Um, and so there's 7 children, and there was kind of like that. But then like there's also like the theory that Rustin Parr was possessed by the Blair Witch, and she was the one who like, I guess, forced him or coerced him or like manipulated him into killing
Killing them, yeah.
the children.
I think that he was possessed by the Blair Witch, and I think at the end, Josh was possessed.
I think too, because we were looking at theories last night, and
Mhm.
I genuinely think the viable theory is that Josh was possessed by the Blair
Because
Witch.
it makes the most sense because at the end, Mike is running to find Josh, and all of a sudden he drops his camera and he's frozen in the corner,
Yeah,
not by his free will.
yeah.
And then Heather runs down, and then her camera drops, and all you see is
Michael standing in the corner.
And so I think at the end, I mean, it could have actually been the Blair Witch for all we know, but like Josh was gone, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden his stuff was in his flannel. So, and they kept hearing him screaming.
Right, yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyways, I gave the movie like a 3.
I gave it a 3.5. Yeah.
Yeah, I gave it a 3.5. But I personally thought it was really good. I know people don't really like horror.
I did actually find it scary.
Yeah.
It was just more of it at the end when they got to the house.
That okay. The first how long is the movie, by the way?
An hour and 21 minutes.
So like the first kind of like maybe like 45, 50 minutes of the movie, you're kind of like, all right, can we wrap it up? It's really slow.
And it's found footage,
Right.
which is very clever. I actually liked how they did it that way because
and
it added
I don't
to
like
it
found
added
footage
to the
film.
horror.
Yeah.
And I liked how we never saw anything going on because it could be anything.
Yeah.
And for its time, I mean, of course, scary movies did exist before '99,
Right.
but for its time, it was like the found footage to where that was never done in that way before.
Because Blair Witch is like that movie is the found footage movie.
And I liked how it built it up to where it was just you hated the characters. You did not like these three characters, and you wanted them. Like, actually, I want you to get killed. And then it got to the point to where something did happen to one of them.
Yeah.
Because like Josh was like, "Oh, there's just like this like sticky stuff on my bag,
the slimy stuff on the
yeah."
bag,
He's like, "I don't understand it," and it's kind of like, "Oh, Josh, like get up, come on." And then suddenly he's gone, and you're like, "Oh, wait,
I guess that did mean something."
maybe that meant something." And then he's gone, and then the flannel, and then the kids like laughing, and then him screaming, and it like kind of these really small things that wouldn't have mattered in a regular horror film,
right? But it like builds up,
and it built up because then they find the house,
the cabin, yeah,
and then the house has children's handprints
all over
the walls, and like the weird incantations.
I remember, I was like,
yeah, and it was like all of a sudden you remember the story in the beginning that the crazy lady and the Fisher guy said, and then you're like, oh wait, they're in the house where they got killed, and then you see Mike in the corner.
Yeah, and then it ends. So it's kind of like, I will say, like, I've never really liked found footage. I just hate the camera movements, how they're always jerky, and like I know that's the point of found film, but I'm always like, can you hold the camera still for 2 seconds? Dang.
Yeah, for film students, they're really bad.
They were really bad at filming.
They had the worst angles.
Like, do you think this is good? I'm like, no.
It's like, are you even looking at the camera?
Yeah, it was like, girl, why are you holding the camera like this?
Yeah, because literally you could see Heather, like, holding it against her eye. But when it was her footage, literally it was like from here to here on the person's face, and it was like angled up. I was like, you're not that tiny.
That's the worst angle you could ever
I was like, can you help us with our documentary, please? And it was like, this documentary sucks.
Yeah, I was like, imagine if she had turned it in for a grade.
Yeah, they'd be like, okay, girl, you risked your life for this.
Yeah, I was like, this is not even good. But anyways, yeah, I was like, the Blair Witch, I think, like, and like the whole purpose of the story is like you never see the Blair Witch. You never see anything like scary, really. Yeah. Or any like there's like I don't think there are any jump scares in this. There's not.
No.
There's no jump scares in it. And like you never actually see anyone like attacking them, but it's just like the fear it builds up over time because you can like see them kind of go crazy
because they lose their minds on each other,
right? And I think it's like now knowing that like that all of it was like improvised, and like there was no script. They had no like scripted dialogue. It was all improv. Um, the directors would give them a prompt with a goal for the day. They would give them all the three actors different prompts for a goal of the day, and that was like their mission. And then they would also, like, over the course of the 8 days that it took to film it, they would give them like a box of food, and then they would like slowly lessen the amount of food that they give them to like increase the animosity between the actors. And they also had to sign a release form saying that they were okay with the crew messing with their minds. And to the point where like people genuinely thought they were dead after the
I mean, you watch the film and it looks like, yeah,
yeah,
it's so real.
I kind of wish that like I could watch it going in not knowing,
Yeah,
because I think that would have made it 10 times more intense, being like, my god, did they actually die? Like, because like the actors went into hiding after the film released to make it even like worse. Like, people were sending condolence letters to their families because they genuinely thought they had died.
like, I just want to say sorry to Josh's mom and to Mike's mom.
Mashed potatoes.
And to my mom. I'm so sorry.
Wait, why is that so good?
Literally, she had like,
and then she like looks like this in the corner of her eye. You know what she saw? That's kind of crazy. She saw also the actors were so genuinely terrified at certain points. Like, when there was a certain point where like they can hear children laughing outside of their tent, that they ran outside of the tent with like, they left everything. They didn't even have a chance to put their shoes on. Like, that was genuine. Like, they genuinely were terrified, and to the point where there were moments in the film that like one of their prompts was to turn the camera to like whatever they were looking at. They were so terrified that they forgot to turn the camera, that they were just like straight up running or like yelling at each other or like fighting.
See, last night I hated the fact that a lot of it is pure black and you can't see, but you can only hear. Because I was like, dude, I just want to see. I want to see something.
Right.
But now, this conversation, I think that's a really smart idea, because you were expecting a pure jump scare every time, and it never happened.
Right. Yeah, I definitely would recommend it for people who like aren't into like horror that much.
Yeah, because it wasn't that. It was scary, but it wasn't like, I don't know. Because there's some films like I can handle thrillers.
I don't like paranormal horror.
I can't handle. If there's a demon in the house, keep him there. I don't want to see it.
Yeah, I was like, actually, I believe in spirits. Goodbye.
Like The Nun, or Did
you see that trailer for those? It was like these two little girls who went into the woods and then they came back and they were possessed.
No,
it was like a trailer that they had on theaters. Like, I remember when I went to go watch Oppenheimer with my friend, we sat in theaters and they played the trailer, and I don't remember what it's called. I think it's like The Exorcist, like blank or something. I don't know what it's called, but I was actually genuinely terrified just from the trailer. I remember looking at my friend and we were like watching it, and I was like, I kept turning to look at her because I was like, this is getting real spiritual real quick.
Oh no,
I was like, I don't like this. I was like, I don't like this at all.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like to the point where I was like, I don't even want to look at the screen anymore. Dang. Like, it was really scary. I was like, I
can't handle anything that's spiritual or paranormal or demons, because I don't like that. I like movies like The Village, even though it's borderline, but it's like a thriller where it's like the phone call is coming from inside the house. Kind of scary. It's like the problem is within the village. Right. They just didn't know. Right. I like those kind of thrillers.
See, I can tolerate watching certain horror movies. I just like need to watch them with people.
Yeah.
Because like I watched The Thing and I watched Evil Dead 2. Mm-hmm. They weren't scary. It was fine. I was fine. I was like, oh, this isn't that bad. I was like, I'm not terrified. It was more of like, oh, now I'm thinking about things. And then for The Thing, and then for Evil Dead 2, I was like, this is just really funny. I was like, I was not scared at all. I laughed the whole time. And then I really like Scream. I really like slasher horror. I love slasher horror. Like, I don't mind that. That doesn't scare me. Like, love Scream, loved Fear Street. And I know Fear Street had a paranormal element to it, but it didn't scare me, really. Like, it wasn't scary to me. And then Blair Witch wasn't scary. I watched Silence of the Lambs, but that's not even like paranormal. It's like there's a murder on the loose.
Yeah.
It is kind of scary though towards the end. That movie's crazy. But other than that, I'm trying to think. Like, I have watched Annabelle, but I watched that with a friend.
I'll say that.
I watched it with a friend and we weren't paying attention to it.
Because it's based on a true story.
Yeah. We just had it on in the background and like we were also at the gym. It was like a weird thing. We just like to watch movies and like it helped us like run faster. I don't know. Try it sometime. But anyways, I like didn't even watch it really.
Okay.
And then I'm trying to think of. I then like tried to watch Haunting of House Hill and I just got really bored.
Oh really?
Yeah. And I'm so sorry if somebody in like who's watching this really likes that, but like I just got really bored and I turned it off. I didn't watch it.
I want to watch the new Fall of the House of Usher.
I heard about that. Yeah.
I heard it's really good. I just haven't gotten around to it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I heard it's good too.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't seen it.
Because I'm watching Modern Family right now, so I gotta pick my battles.
No, literally. I'm watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine right now.
Like, that's the true fear.
The true fear is Gina Linetti.
Yeah.
Gina Linetti.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways. Fictional crushes. Blair Witch is definitely up there.
Yeah, she's definitely up there. After we went on our true crime rant. And horror movies.
Yeah.
So this is slowly turned into a true crime podcast.
Only murders.
We're gonna be covering murders now. Dang, I was thinking of something and now I can't remember what it was. It was like had to do something with the Blair Witch.
It'll come back.
And Rustin Parr. But anyways, yeah, the 7. I didn't even think about that. The 7 rocks.
I didn't think about that until I said it.
Yeah,
because that makes sense. Because that's why she counted it the way she did.
Yeah, that's probably why it freaked them out.
Yeah,
so much
because they were going for the cemetery and they technically never found it.
Yeah,
but they did.
Dang, that's kind of crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, man, I love psychological thrillers and stuff like that.
Those are good. Like I love them. The Sixth Sense. That one was a good one.
Have you seen Gothica?
No.
It's one of my favorite like psychological thrillers. Really good. We should watch it sometime.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, it's like there's kind of a paranormal element to it, but it's like not really. If you know, it's kind of like the Blair Witch.
Okay.
In that sense.
Okay.
But it's really good. Robert Downey Jr. is in it.
Really?
Yeah, and Halle Berry. Halle Berry, Robert Downey Jr., and then there's some other actors. That movie had me gagged. I'm telling you.
Gag. Gag. Gagged. Gagged and gooped over here.
No, literally. No, but that movie, when I finished it, I was like, because the ending was crazy.
What's it called?
It's called Gothica.
Gagica.
0. I
just had to remember what it was called. So
X.
Stupid.
Oh yeah, and then remember when we were like, Michael, no, deep it down, sachet.
Michael was the only sane one for the longest time. And then Heather's like, guys, where's the map? And Josh is like, Heather, are you like joking? Where is it? And she's like, guys, I don't know where the map is.
Okay, actually, that did kind of piss me off though that Michael was like,
and then Michael
was mad at her,
and then Michael starts laughing, and he goes, I just like kicked it to the creek. I just kicked it to the creek because we already lost. And then you let this
a day later, so he didn't tell them until literally the end of that day.
Michael, you were the only sane one.
I was like, we trusted you.
And then you decided to what?
Betray us.
Or was that the Blair Witch possessing him to do that?
Who knows? It could have been the Blair Witch messing with all of them, to be honest.
That honestly makes sense. That's why they were probably so just angry.
Yeah. Because at one point they like got into a physical like fight.
Yeah, Josh literally
I think that they were like actually fighting.
And then she bit him.
Yeah.
Yeah, Heather bit Josh.
And then like 2 seconds later, I was like, I didn't mean it.
But the moment Josh was gone missing, they were just kind of like, they freaked out for a second, and then she found like his teeth and hair in his flannel shirt. Yeah. And she's like, well, I'll just put this over here. And then kind of just moved on.
No, literally. I was like, okay, girl.
I'm glad in the end they thought they heard him and we're gonna go find him. That I was like, man, y'all just really just like just left Josh. I don't even
care about this man for real, like,
because she ain't no diva.
Yeah.
And the Blair Witch was over like, hey there, you hey there, how are you doing? And other going, Josh! And she goes, are you out of your effing mind?
Wait, this is so funny. There were like noises of like children, and when
were
they
they
were
laughing?
There,
I can't remember if they're laughing.
There's no baby out there.
Oh yeah, because
that's not a.
Because she's like, "Baby, you hear that?" And they were like, "There's no effing baby out there. There's no effing baby." I think there was something out there.
Also, when they had lost the map, like this was fully after like 2 days of them being lost, and like everyone knowing that they were lost, and then Heather goes, "I think it's safe to say that we're lost, guys." And we were like, "Wait, really?" And this was like fully after they had lost the map, and I was like, "Yeah, you could have said that like 2 days ago. Like, we know we're lost."
Heather was the one that would say what's going on, and the people knew. And that's why they were always so mad at her.
I would be mad at her too. She was tweaking the whole time. Like, and
it was her project.
It was her project. Also, there was one point, like, this was after they got into the physical fist fight.
The first one or second one?
This was the first one, where they were like, after they had like fought with each other, and they were like sitting in like separate like corners, and she was like, "Guys, are we still going south? What happened?"
And they go, "Heather, just 5 minutes, Heather."
Guys, what happened?
They're like, "Heather, we just literally need 5 minutes.
Well, I just want to know, like, if we're still going
5
south.
minutes,
And
Heather.
She's just, like, asking questions. And I don't know about y'all. Like, one of my biggest pet peeves is when people ask me questions when they already, like, can visibly see that I'm mad. And I'm like, don't ask me anything right now because I will yell at you.
It's like that movie made me not a feminist for an hour and 21 minutes.
No, literally, I was like, Heather, it's getting real hard to support you right now. It's getting real difficult. I don't like you.
And then they're like, "Heather, this is like your project. It's your fault." She's like, "Guys, no." And then we had the confessional.
Yeah, at the end.
And then she goes, "They were right. It is my fault. I'm the one that brought him out here."
No. That's actually really accurate. But anyways, yeah, I was like, there were at some points also like my pet peeve is when people ask me like really stupid questions, like
she's over here. She's like, "Are we in the woods?"
And I'm like, it's just like you don't want to respond in a snappy way, but at that point, it's like, are you stupid? Like, are you actually dumb?
Like, re-dropped on the head.
Yeah, I'm like, why am I having to explain something so simple to you? Something that you should already know. Or like when I'm doing a task and like people ask me what I'm doing as I am doing the task.
The one thing that made me mad about Heather in the film, especially, is that she said, "Oh, this is serious. This is our project," and then she would interview people and not take them seriously.
Yeah. She'd be like, "Haha." No, after they interviewed the man that talked about Rustin Parr and then the woman that talked about the Blair Witch, she was like, "That was so funny. Like, that was not real."
And then later
all.
on, she was like, "Oh man, that crazy lady brought this up, and I can't remember what she said." Heather, horrible.
They didn't need to go back to film school for real.
I don't think they'll go back to anything. I think they're dead.
They probably are. But I meant like if they had survived,
like they would have went back to their little university, sat down, and then she would have presented it, and then her...
I would have given them like a D.
Yeah, her instructor been like, "What? First of all, why is this filmed in black and white? And second of all, why are the angles so bad?"
Yeah, I was like, why are you like...
Why do I need to see their nose hairs?
Yeah.
I don't have to see that.
Also, like, even like, I feel like 3 people for a film like that is too little.
Yeah, where's the audio guy?
Yeah, I was like, you need an audio guy. You're capturing all of the sounds right now.
Where's the first AD? Where's the gaffer?
Yeah. It's like, no, actually, I was like, 0 out of 10.
They had 2 cameras, 3 guys.
Yeah, I was like, what are you going to do with that? Also, how are you going to split this up?
Yeah, like, it's just, like, what was the end goal? Like, what
the end goal was for them to find an imaginary cemetery
that they found but didn't realize they found. But still, it was more of like the documentary. What was the goal of the documentary?
I don't.
She didn't take anything serious.
She didn't,
because they're children.
And then she was like, "This is my film, guys." And then like when they would ask her like, "Please stop filming us," because like something serious would happen, she'd be like, "I need to get the shot, guys." The shot of what?
Film bro moment.
We're about to die, and you want to get a shot of me dying?
Yeah, but we got to see it though.
That's true. But anyways, I was still like, I would have been mad at her too. Like, I probably would have fought her too.
I was like, this isn't even about like animated crushes anymore. I'm just mad.
Yeah, now I'm just mad.
Yeah, Heather Donahue.
Heather Donahue, you.
Oh, you. Why I oughta.
Like,
Why I Oh, put me in a room with Heather Donahue.
Put me in a room.
I'm about to become the Blair Witch.
No, and you know what? Because like knowing that like the crew was actually just messing with them the whole time. Like they were the ones who were playing the children laughing sound. They were the ones who like they like at one point in the movie, Heather sees a figure in white, but because she's so scared, she doesn't turn the camera, so we don't end up seeing her. But like that's what she was looking at.
That was during her confessional.
It was during her confessional, I think.
Because that's
sense. Why she started panicking, because she literally saw a figure in white that disappeared, and it was one of the cast. It was one of the crew, and I was like, if I were one of those actors, and like I would have started swinging on the crew members.
Well, they did sign.
I don't care. I know that they signed it, but if I were one of the actors, I would have started swinging. I was like, as soon as I make eye contact with y'all, best believe I was like, matter of fact, start running, because I'm gonna start swinging.
I would have loved Ben Josh though, because he died and then they had like 1-2 more days in the woods.
Yeah,
I would have loved that, because that means I wouldn't have to be in the woods anymore.
No, and he probably like was able to get food and stuff.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna go to McDonald's, Johnny.
Yeah, literally like mashed potatoes.
Freaking okay. Potatoes. There's a scene where they talk about like, you know, I've got cheeseburger in my bag, joking because they're so hungry, and then I think it's Mike. And he just goes, oh, you know, mashed potatoes.
My mom's mashed potatoes.
And he said it with such a weird at the end, because he's like, mashed potatoes. My mom is mashed potatoes. And what?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just, you know,
they're children in the woods. They don't take the Blair Witch seriously, and the Blair Witch says, oh.
You know, this is the problem with people in America.
She didn't say that, she was like, you can't get lost in modern day America.
She said that, and they were in the middle of the woods, and I said, baby, where do you think most people go missing? It's in the national park system.
You are literally lost in modern day America.
Yes.
As you said that.
And even then, like, statistic-wise, look at the statistics. You know where most people go missing? It's in national parks.
Do you not know how many missing children there are in America? Like, that's an actual problem. And she's up here like, well, you can't get lost in today's society.
No, literally. Also, fun fact, but, like, there's, like, a cave system that runs all through, like, there's, like, a bunch of different caves and stuff like that in, like, kind of like America in their national parks. But, like, they've, like, I think it was the FBI, because they run, like, national like security services. But they were like did a study, and they found that like a majority of people who go missing in national parks near these caverns.
Yeah, they get stuck in the caves. Was that one guy that they just found his body?
Or it's just like they like will like that's why they tell you to follow the trails and stuff, and like to always stay on the trail, because people get lost all the time, and like there's so much ground to cover that it's like even the park rangers, like even people who are there all the time, like they can get lost.
Yeah.
I was like, so what makes you think that you can go off trail and you'll be fine?
Because she's holding a camera.
And that's why I'm like, guys, this is why we listen to rules and regulations, especially in national parks, especially where there are wild animals. Or listen
to your friends who are literally saying, let's not do this, guys, come on, let's go. We're lost, let's go back now. And Heather's like, no, we need the shot.
We need to go to the cemetery. I'm like, no, we don't. Actually, like, we can do without it.
And they were there, and they had no idea.
Yeah. And that's why I personally, once again, I've listened to too many true crime podcasts about people getting lost in the woods, or just even like things happening in the woods, or just like, and I would never go hiking. It's actually like ruined hiking in like national parks for me.
Yeah.
And like I know some people love national parks, and like I'm not trying to ruin that for you. I just personally I'm burdened with the knowledge now, and I'm like, I know too much.
You're no longer naive enough to go hiking.
No, but I'm like, and like people are like, it's fine if you know what you're doing. Like I've gone hiking, and I'm like, I just don't. I'm not a woods girl either. I'm not a woodsy girl. Like I really am a city girl. I grew up in the city, and I just don't want to do that to myself, and I would just be terrified the whole time. And I know that like it's like not a plausible fear, really, technically, like, you know, that something's gonna happen the night that I decide to go hiking, but like
it could,
right? But it's also kind of like, I don't know, I just don't think that I would enjoy it, because I know too much.
Yeah.
And like same thing with like caving. I wouldn't do that either. I've heard too many horror stories. I would never go caving. No, that's like one of those things that I was just like, oh, I know too much about this that I can't enjoy it knowing what I know.
Yeah, my dad used to like search caves when he was younger with his friend, and they would come out of the cave and it'd be like days later, and they had no idea it was days.
Yeah,
because you just don't know.
And that's why I'm like, people, I don't know, like I hate people who just like do things without thinking, and I'm like, yeah, like be impulsive or whatever, like, but within reason. Like, I'm an impulsive person, but my impulsive is like, let's go to Taco Bell at 2 a.m. Like,
girl, you crazy.
And no, literally, I'm so silly goofy. Some people's impulsive are, let's go caving and it's 3 a.m. Say who? Say what?
No.
Are you trying to get yourself killed?
No.
And like without a guide at night. And I'm like,
all I got is a flashlight, 2 protein bars,
and a dream. I was like, at that point, just say hello to death for me, because you won't come out. I know you're not coming out.
Like, yeah, okay, so what if you got a North Face jacket on? You ain't gonna make it that far.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, I just like people who do impulsive things like that could end up potentially being dangerous. And I'm like, don't
like, but I see God in nature. Okay, go to your front yard and touch the grass.
I'm like, go on a leisurely walk around a neighborhood. I don't know.
I don't have to see God in nature on a trail that took me 45 minutes to get there. I can see him.
We are gonna make so many people who like hiking mad.
I went hiking last week, and literally, it was the first time in years, because the college I graduated from, I used to go hiking every weekend because that was the only thing we had, and I hated it every time, but I had nothing better to do. And so when I went hiking last week, I mean, yeah, it was fun because it's been like 3 years since I actually went hiking. Mm-hmm. But the whole time I was like, we could have just met at a coffee shop.
Yeah.
We didn't have to do this.
Yeah,
my nails are dirty. I have to pee.
We're sweating. We don't have any
big hydro flask that's in the way. No benches. There's no chairs.
It's just like, I get that people like it, and you know what? Enjoy things. You know, have a hobby. Great. But
I can see a tree right there out my window, and
then that's enough. That's good enough.
The Lord made that for me.
I can plant a home garden.
I don't even gotta do that.
Like, I don't know. Like, go access things that are right outside. Why do you gotta go into the middle of the woods? I don't know. I just like, and whatever. This might be controversial.
The Blair Witch is out there.
The Blair Witch is out there, and like, I'm not even kidding. Like, you know how many ancient Native American stories there are about like things in the woods?
Oh yeah.
And people are like, well, that stuff isn't real. Okay, continue being dumb. Because I was like, my thing is, I'm like, Native Americans are native to America. I was like, if they have stories that they have told each other and passed down to each other about certain creatures that live in the woods, I believe them. I believe them. And you know what? Call me dumb. You can call me whatever you want. But I'm like, I personally am like, within enough reason, believe that those could exist. I'm like, you've lived here for long enough, especially that, like, it's not even like that it's like one tribe. Like, most tribes have a legend about like this creature, that like runs through, you know, the North American forests and stuff like that. And like, and I was like, I was like, I think that like there could be some truth there. And I think that there could be some truth there because they've lived here for so long that I'm like, okay, well, you've passed these stories down. I'm like, there has to be some sort of truth. And like, even if it's not like a paranormal creature or whatever, like it's like a wild animal doing things, I'm like, it's still, there's danger in doing that.
And when you're out in the woods, you're no longer the king.
Yeah.
That's their house. It's like going in the ocean.
Being like, oh my god, it's shark-infested waters. Like, you mean they're home?
You're like swimming in the living room.
That's like going to New York City and saying people-infested town. People-infested city. I'm like, they're home?
That's what the rats say in New York. It's people-infested.
They're like rat-infested. I'm like, this is where I live.
Like, I was here first.
And I'm like, shark-infested waters. I'm like, okay, don't go into their house then. Like, you're gonna get bit if you go into their house. I feel like that's common sense.
There might be bears out there in the woods. Okay, and water's wet.
Right. I'm like, or people who like go hiking and like it's like up north, because there are a lot of, I think there are grizzly bears. I'm not sure where grizzly bears are like mainly.
I don't know.
But I'm like, what I'm thinking is probably like Colorado, Oregon.
That's not north, but okay.
Well, I'm thinking like northwest.
Oh yeah, okay.
So I'm thinking like up there, because that's where they also have like a lot of national parks there, and like Seattle, or like not Seattle, but Washington.
I think that is grizzlies out there.
Yeah, I mean, because it's pretty close to Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, there are grizzly bears out there, like, and they're not like, black bears are a lot tamer than grizzly bears, and I know that because black bears are native to Florida. But I'm like, black bears are like a lot less. Not that they're not harmful, but like, it's pretty easy to scare one off. Usually they don't even like people. Like, they try to stay away from people. So if you just make yourself look big and like kind of like scream, they'll like run away because they don't like people. Like, they're not trying to attack you. Grizzly bears are a whole nother thing. Like, I'm like, even if you do have bear spray, like, I've heard stories where people have still been mauled even when they had bear spray and like sprayed the bear 5 times and the bear was still attacking them, and they like had to rush to the hospital because they literally had to walk. They had to like walk back and then drive themselves to the hospital after being mauled by a bear.
Not for me.
And I'm like, why would you put yourself in that situation? I don't know. Like, I guess the view is nice. Take a picture. Or actually go on Google and look up the view.
Look it up on the internet.
Like, it's nothing like seeing it in person.
Okay.
Well, I guess we'll never know.
Also, Edward Cullen broke up with Bella in the woods.
Yeah, so the woods are bad. I.e., example, or wait, like, the lesson learned here is
the woods don't go in the woods, especially if you have a significant other. Because they'll break up with you and just leave you,
murder you,
and literally leave you in the woods.
No, yeah, but and that's the lesson.
Brother, ew.
Brother. Anyways,
well, that's
the lesson for this podcast is 1. Alvin is a horrible person,
and he would leave you in the woods.
We're bringing it back.
Alvin would so leave you in the woods.
Alvin would leave you in the woods. And the lesson learned is the woods are bad, and so is Alvin. But we support the Blair Witch.
Yeah, pro Blair Witch.
Pro Blair Witch.